Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. So there will be no DC fandom this year. No shit Sherlock. This comes as no surprise to me. It's something I'm not fazed about, not upset about. I know many of you are gutted about this, but this should come as no surprise. This is what they had to say about the situation. With the return of in-person events, Warner Bros. Discovery is excited to be able to engage with our fans live at numerous Comic Cons around the world and will not be scheduling DC Fandom for 2022. For me, this just shows how little interest they have within the DCEU. Black Adam is coming in October, we think. Next year we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods, we have Blue Beetle, we have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and the Flash movie as well. We have 4 DC movies. I think they're going to move those and change them yet again, and we've already discussed that. So, with all these movies, right, they have no interest in promoting them. And I'll tell you why. Because they have no interest within the DCEU and their films, because the DCEU, this franchise, has absolutely no future. You don't have to believe it, you don't have to believe me, but these are the facts. Guess who's promoting Black Adam? It's The Rock's production company, not Warner Bros. Discovery. They're not interested. We got The Rock saying, if this is successful, we could do this, we could do that. You're going to do nothing, mate. We've already seen what kind of productions your company makes. League of Super Pets, right? Flop. Disaster. Was never going to be anything else, right? Look, it's a pleasant cartoon. If it was on the Cartoon Network, I'd enjoy it. Maybe I'd even buy it on Blu-ray. It's a bit of fun. But families weren't going to sit and watch a bunch of DC Super Pets, right? And I know Superman and Batman and other characters are in it, right? But it doesn't matter. This was the wrong way to go. And here's the truth. The Walter Hamada era of the DCEU, his plan was woke, by the way. It was a woke plan. Replace Batman with Batgirl. Replace Superman with Supergirl. Basically an all-female fucking Justice League. Oh, they would have drove out old Shazam and Aquaman by the time they were finished. That was the plan. But if I'm wrong about what a lack of interest Zaslav and Discovery has in the DCEU going forward, then why would you cancel Fandome? Now, to be fair, Fandome was created and initiated because of lockdowns and the pandemic. It was a great idea, and the first one was fantastic, a real celebration of DC. Mostly the peak excitement was for the marketing of Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. And that was great and it was fun, and we had Wonder Woman 84 being promoted. Okay, all right, back then most people didn't know it was going to be shit, but it was exciting. It was an exciting time for sure. And then we had, was it last year's one, I think, wasn't as good. It seemed to have too much marketing and collaborations and things like that. Listen, it worked for a time. I don't mind going forward if we have a real event, DC Fandom, where people can go and meet all these actors and, you know, comic book writers and artists and directors. That would be fun. But ultimately, if we have no pandemic and lockdowns and we can go to Comic Cons and enjoy this stuff, there's no need for DC Fandom. But it's not like they're sending out, you know, their films for promotion at the other cons either. And to me, it just shows us how little future the DCEU has. And every time I say this, people go, it's happening, right? And I mean, we're getting all these rumours spilling about, oh, my famous scooper, my favourite scooper. Well, actually, he's not, I'm being sarcastic. Casey Walsh talking, oh yeah, Batman and Superman, Batfleck and Cavill are definitely back and they're back full-time. Well, what does back full-time in the DCEU mean? When basically this franchise is very soon going to be defunct once they release all these movies. That's the thing. What What do you think this 10-year plan means? It's nothing to do with the DCEU. They're happy with Matt Reeves. He can do whatever he wants. They pretty much said that. The new co-chairs of WB Pictures said that if he wants to do this DC project, he can. And Todd Phillips, well, Zaslav adores Todd Phillips and the Joker. It brought home $1 billion. Why wouldn't he love Todd Phillips? But Todd Phillips has been a mainstay at WB for many, many years, and he's made them a lot of money, not just with the Joker movie. The Hangover trilogy is one of the best, laugh out loud comic, trilogy. I mean, I can't think of any other set of 3 films that's so good. So Todd Phillips is a genius, and he will continue making his DC movies as well. And hopefully he gets his own black label, which is what he wanted from the beginning. And I'm very excited about Joker 2. I mean, it's going to be set in Arkham Asylum. They've already cast another actor, an Irish actor. I forgot his name now. Apparently, he may play a doctor or an orderly at Arkham Asylum, because this film is going to be heavily featuring Arkham Asylum. And is Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn, or is she playing another character? Could Harley Quinn be the Joker's sister in this universe? They could change things. It will be very interesting. So yes, very excited for the Batman 2, the Arkham series, the Penguin series, and the Joker sequel. It's all very exciting. Now, I always want to see DC movies. Look, when the DCEU launched, I was fucking excited. I loved Man of Steel. I loved Batman vs Superman. I enjoyed the first Suicide Squad movie, warts and all. Wonder Woman, it was good. It was great. And then they sent Zack Snyder packing, and it wasn't so great, and it was a mess. And we've had all these different hands on this franchise, and no one's been able to do anything with it because Snyder had a vision for it, right? You'd say the vision really started with Batman vs Superman, and Man of Steel was Nolan and Goya's vision, but it kind of makes sense. And it's a good adult franchise. It may not be kind of business-wise the best idea to have such an adult franchise, but anyway, by hook or by crook, the Snyderverse is like a Game of Thrones, kind of Lord of the Rings, kind of DC franchise, and it worked for certain people, right? And considering it wasn't really aimed at kids, the money Man of Steel made, BVS made, Wonder Woman made, and the attention Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut got, excellent. But then they sent away the guy who put this together for one reason or the other. And now we've got this situation where this franchise is a mess. It needs to be destabled. It needs to be destabilized. It needs to go. It's dead. As far as I'm concerned, it's fucking dead. So people complaining that DC Fandome has been cancelled and Zaslav's cancelled something else. DC Fandome was never ever going to happen, people. It's as simple as that. So yes, I'm not bothered. As a DC fan, I'm not bothered. Now, if I knew they were planning DC Fandome, they said it's happening next week and now it's not happening, that is a cancellation, and I would have been devastated, of course. But this was never happening. I had it in my mind that this was never happening, and it's clear they don't really want to promote these movies. I don't think Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is actually ready to be promoted in marketing. James Wan is a perfectionist, and he won't put anything out there until it's ready, so that's not going to happen. Now, Shazam! Fury of the Gods can definitely be promoted unless they're making some changes to that movie as well. So yes, I'm quite sure if we go on to Cavill and Batfleck that they're going to be back. They're going to be back for as long as this franchise exists, which I don't think is very, very long. That's my opinion, I could be wrong. David Zaslav may have all the faith in the world in the DCEU and wants to fix it and continue it. And if he can fix it, great. I don't think it's a good idea. There's too much baggage. There's too much negative history within the DCEU. You're best off starting a brand new, expansive, an expansive franchise with the right head of DC Studios who understands this world and these characters and does something vast with them. I will always value Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut, and a few other films within the DCEU. They tried. I don't think it was a total disaster, but they tried, right? They, they should never have brought in Nolan in the first place, and that's the point. Christopher Nolan was the wrong person to shepherd a franchise, and then they soon got rid of him and put Snyder in charge. Then they lost faith in Snyder. Then they had Johns and Berg, lost faith in them for obvious reasons. And then they brought in Walter Hamada, and then Zaslav came in and said, "Oh no, you fucking don't, get out." And we've heard what Zaslav thinks of the DCEU. You may have had a couple of hits, but basically that was accidental. And he has no faith in the DCEU. He knows it can't be fixed, and he knows he needs to start again. He knows he needs this 10-year plan, and whoever he's got working on this 10-year plan, let's hope it's a good one. So for the people who are upset about DC fandom not happening, the only kind of crumbs I can throw at you is this is not a negative. This was never going to happen, so don't really worry about it. What I'm saying to you is Zaslav has big plans for DC. Whoever he puts in charge over at DC Studios will create a vast, expansive mythos and represent these characters and these universes that we've been fans of for years in the right way. But a 10-year plan takes time. It's going to take time to make DC great. But Zaslav and his people will do that because he wants to make money. And the best way of Warner Brothers Discovery making money is via a vibrant, expansive DC live-action universe. This has been Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you again in the next video. Until I see you again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.